Lot lizards?
No. Anyway, I crawl up into the cab, look down, and it ain't Lizzie, it's this fat fella just stumbling around, and I figured he was drunk and trying to get into the wrong cab, so I jumped down, and that's when I saw it.
He was a zombie.
He didn't have no face! I mean, whooped on no face! Well, I let out a yell that would curl your hair and jump back, which was stupid, because that brought all of them running. Before I knew it, I was pretty near surrounded.
What did you do?
Well, I reached out and I kicked old No-Face right in the knee. I didn't know about no living dead or zombies back then. It was just a reaction. And luckily, he was a big fella with just one leg, and he went all wobbly and tipped right over. And I jumped back up into the cab, and I just sat there a while, looking out at the truck stop. It was like a sea of people, except they weren't people no more, you know. They were zombies.
So you were trapped?
Oh, like hell I was. I got me a big old Cummins diesel, and while she didn't have no cattle catcher back then, she was still strong enough to get me back on the road.
So you just...
I drove. That's all I know. That's all I did. I put the hammer down, and away I went. It was slow at first, but then ain't people no more. Hell, they didn't even try to get out of the way. I just crunched my way out the lot and kept driving. Wasn't fast, though. I mean, I think that was the worst part. I wasn't pulling what I'm pulling now. Back then, I had me a wiggle wagon, and every bump felt like I was going to tip.
Wiggle wagon?
Yup. No, I detached it down the roadways. Once I saw how bad everything really was and heard the chatter on the radio, I figured that I didn't need to deliver the load no more. Kinda wish I stuck it out, though. I was hauling a bunch of stock for one of them home improvement stores. Ooh, would have come in handy in hindsight.
So, what about them? The rest of your caravan?
Oh, you mean my big old convoy? Well, I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, every time I'd stop to fuel up or look for something to eat, there'd be some fella in a van or a bunch of folks in a bus, and they'd ask if they could ride along. I couldn't say no. I mean, safety in numbers, right? Besides, the company felt good. Radio had been dead for a while. Yeah, I said, yeah. And they never tell you this, but it gets pretty lonely on the road. So before I knew it, my one or two followers turned into a convoy with me the lead.
So you're the leader then?
Well, not like no boss or nothing. Folks look to me because I know the roads, you know, and I can fix pretty near anything with wheels. I don't make no big decisions. I just drive, and sometimes folks follow.
What do you miss?
From the old days?
Yeah.
Oh, not a lot really. It's mostly the same for me. I drive, talk to folks, hell. Big Reg back there keeps the food diner quality. For me, nothing's really changed all that much.
You have to miss something.
Well, yeah, I guess.
What is it?
Oh, it's kind of stupid.
Try me.
You won't laugh?
I won't laugh.
Okay. Well, burritos. Hey! Hey, you said you weren't gonna laugh.
Burritos?
Not the real ones. Reg can make, still kind of make those. I mean the frozen kind. The kind you get in a truck stop at 2 in the morning when there was no one around but other drivers. The kind you had to microwave forever, and they'd still be frozen. So you'd stand around jawing with the other guys and swapping stories and trading handles. That's what I miss.
Yeah, I miss that too.
Yeah. Hey, we done here? Looks like we got something big up ahead. Might have to stop.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you for this, hay shaker.
Yep.
Riding with the caravan for a few days, I got to witness how they operated. There was never any fighting or bickering, and everyone had their role, the thing that made them valuable to the group. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't tempted to stay with them. It was, it was good for my heart to see social functionality again, people getting along, doing a job, and helping each other out. One of the more surprising interviews that came, it was a woman in her mid-20s that everyone called Mama. Now, I thought that it was odd that she'd have such a nickname, especially since there were women that were, older and more matronly than her around, so I asked her about it. And I've regretted it ever since. Thank you for agreeing to do this. This is tape 17 interview with Krista Phillips, age 26.
Mama. Everyone here calls me Mama.
Why is that?
I watch after the kids.
Just you?
No, there are others, but I'm the one that the kids call Mama. Sophie, a little blonde girl that used to ride with us, started it, and all the other kids just picked it up.
It's kind of sweet. Do you like it?
Keep a secret?
Well, not really. These recordings are
I fucking hate it.
Why?
Because most of these kids have lost their parents. They've lost their real mothers and fathers, and because I'm there taking care of them, they imprint on me, like baby ducks. And I'm not their mama, and it kills me every single time that they say it. It's funny, you'd think that you'd get used to it, and it would hurt less. But I swear to God, it hurts more and more every time.
Then why not have them call you something else?
Do you know what I was before all of this started?
No, that's kind of the purpose of these days.
I was a housewife, living the suburban dream. I had a nice house, a successful husband with a good job, and we had just gotten married and were ready to settle down. It was the kind of perfect life that you only read about in magazines or see on sitcoms. And I did it all. Mary Kay, Avon, even those candle wax parties with those little scented tabs that melt but don't actually burn. That was my life, and I loved it.
It sounds like it was lovely.
It really was. We lived in this pretty little house at the end of a cul-de-sac on Pine Haven Road. Pine Haven. It seems silly now, but back then it felt like I was saying Beverly Hills. When the plague or whatever they're calling it really hit, my husband Teddy and I shouldn't have stood a chance. I'm not even sure how we got out of there alive. I remember my neighbor Sarah bouncing up and over the hood of our BMW. Sarah, who bought more Avon than any one woman could use. The same Sarah who still had my good cake pans. Dead and trying to make me the same way.
It wasn't your friend anymore. You know that, right?
Still didn't make it right. Teddy and I spent the next few days just trying to survive. During the day, we'd park and hide somewhere. Abandoned hotels, the back of a delivery truck. Any place we could be quiet and feel safe. At night, we'd drive. Slowly, no headlights, we'd just drive. Every once in a while, we'd hit something or someone, and we'd just keep going. We weren't sure where we were going. We just knew that someplace had to be safe. Someplace had to be better than this. One morning, right at dawn, we decided to break into this corner drugstore. It had grates on the windows, a barred door, and as far as we could tell, it was empty on the inside.
Was it empty?
Yeah, but it was harder to get into than we thought it would be. Without tools, a locked door stops the living just as well as it stops the dead. But Teddy wouldn't be dissuaded. He was positive that there would be food and supplies in there, so we kept trying to get in. He was using the tire wrench from the car, this cheap little thing that bent way too easily, and we were almost in when a zombie comes staggering around the corner and grabs me right by the back of the head. I thought I was dead. Teddy let out this deep-throated scream and tackled it. He pulled it right off me. Teddy wasn't a huge guy, and to be honest, he was a bit softer than most. He was a computer programmer. They're not known for their physical strength. But right then, he was Hercules. They rolled around for a second until Teddy got on top of it, and using the tire iron, he caved in its head just over and over again until it stopped moving. I'd never seen him like that.
Fear is a powerful motivator.
So is getting bit. I didn't know it at first, but when Teddy was wrestling with that thing, it bit him. Not bad, not even really a bite. It just pinched him, barely even breaking the skin, but it was enough. We got inside and barred the door behind us, and then we cried. I'm not sure why. It might have been fear, elation at getting away, or just adrenaline. We just sat there, leaning up against the door, holding each other and crying.
Was he infected?
Yeah. I mean, we cleaned the wound with rubbing alcohol and bandaged it good, but about an hour later, the fever set in.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen someone go from healthy to infected? Have you ever watched as they get sick and die?
Yeah.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When Teddy died, I didn't know what I'd do. I knew that I wouldn't have the strength to keep him from becoming one of those things. I knew that I didn't have it in me to do what the news said we had to do.
So what did you do?
I dragged him outside and closed the door behind me.
Did he change?
I could hear him on the other side of the door, moaning, getting up, shuffling around.
What did you do?
I got drunk, that's what I did. Blind, stinking drunk. The drugstore had a cooler, and although everything was piss warm, I drank until I felt like I was going to throw up. Then I walked to the pharmacy, got a handful of pills from behind the counter, and I ended it.
You tried to kill yourself.
No, not me. I took a handful of those Plan B pills. I guess it could have killed me too, but at that moment I didn't care.
You were pregnant?
3 months. Like I said, I was in suburban heaven. But now that hell was walking the earth, I wasn't going to bring a child into this world. Not alone. Not when it could end up.
I am so...
That's when they found me. The caravan. Bleeding to death from a miscarriage, stupid, drunk, and barely conscious in a corner drugstore. They cleaned me up, they took care of me, and they gave me a reason to keep going. So, now I'm mama to them all, no matter how badly it hurts. Because they deserve a mama, and I deserve to remember what I did.
You did what you thought was...
Look, I'm sorry, I think we're done. I have to get back to the kids.
Of course, look, I just... Thank you. Honestly, thank you for this, Krista.
Mama, always mama.
Thank you, Mama. I ran into the caravan about 3 months ago. A long line of trucks, cars, vans, and buses. They seemed to exist in a form of a modern-day wagon train, always on the move, never standing still. They say that they're looking for a place to safely call home, or at least a place where the dead don't walk the very roads they travel. Out of the 3 people who agreed to be interviewed from that group, Big Reg has to be my favorite. A smile as large as his heart. He's one of the few people that I've seen that seems to have honestly adapted to this hell that we all struggle with.
If you would please state your name and age for the record.
Yeah.
Anytime you're ready.
My name is Reginald Harvey Williams, and I'm 37. Most folks just call me Big Reg, though.
Explain, please, how you got that nickname.
On account I'm so small.
So people are they're not going to be able to see this. So
Okay.
Could you describe?
Well, folks have always picked on me about my size ever since I was, well, even littler than I am now. Well, let me say, I never really let it bother me much. Good things come in small packages is what my mom always said. Size ain't nothing but perception. And I've known men twice my size that are smaller than me. I got one of them big personalities, I guess.
So they call you Big Reg because you're small?
No. Tell you what happened. Back when it all started getting rough, right before everything went right to hell, but you could see that it was going that way fast. I was working as a night cook at this little truck stop right outside Bellefontaine, that's in Ohio. And anyway, it was getting pretty grim out there, and the diner was pretty near empty. And one of the other cooks, a tall, skinny kid named Terry, me and him got on pretty well. He'd like to pull a prank on me, and like little thing, like put my apron up on the top shelf, or wait until I went into the storeroom to kick out the doorstop. see, the storeroom was where we kept most of the dry goods and bottles of soda and whatnot, and we used to use it as a break room when we cooked. And there was a little table, radio, and someone even brought in one of those little black and white TVs. Well, the only thing was, storeroom door was big, busted, and didn't open from the inside. So if you was in there and someone else came along and kicked out the little chewed up hunk of wood we used to prop it open, you were pretty much stuck in there until they decided to let you out.
I think I see where this is going.
So it was a slow night, like I said, and things had been getting pretty bad, and we was just hearing about the worst of it, and none of us knew what to think. I mean, dead coming back to life, chewing up on people. We didn't know if it was a joke or serious or what, but I promise you this, we was all scared. So anyways, I had to go into the storeroom for something. I don't rightly remember what now, and I guess it ain't important. And Terry, well, he was kind of scared and noticed that the mood was getting low, and Terry hated that. He'd do anything to make folks laugh. So when I went in, he snuck over, and before I could turn around, he kicks out the little nubbly of wood. Oh man, was I so... I mean, I liked the guy, but things was tense, and I wasn't in a mood to play his little begging game to let me out of the storeroom. So I'm a cussing and a banging on the door, and I can hear him on the other side just laughing, and that made me madder, so I pounded harder, which just made Terry laugh even more. Oh, but then I heard it. Oh, through the door I heard it. And Terry heard it too, because his laughing just stopped.
What happened?
Well, as far as I can tell, big herd of those dead folk came flooding in a diner, and there was moaning and screaming and the sound of breaking glass, and I pounded harder to be let out, but nobody came. Then I heard the old 30-06 we kept in the back go off, and then nothing. It just got real quiet. And I listened at the door for a few minutes, and then knocked real soft. Called out for Terry.
Did he answer?
Oh, I hope not. Whatever's on the other side of that door wasn't alive no more, and it wasn't alone. It clawed and scraped and pounded on the door when I went quiet. A mouse, church quiet. And after about an hour, pounding and the clawing stopped, but I could hear them out there, shuffling around, and every once in a while, one of them would bump into something, and you hear glass break or dish shatter. They'll get all worked up again, but I stayed quiet.
How long were you in there?
Well, I don't want you to think that I suffered none. I mean, I had all the food I could eat, and all the water and booze I could drink, and TV and radio for company. I mean, not that they lasted long. Power went out about a week in, and never came back on. About 2 weeks in, my eyes so adjusted to the dark, I could almost read the labels on the foods.
So you sat alone in the dark for
3 weeks, give or take. And I woke up one night about 9 p.m. I knew it was night because my watch still worked, and I could see the glowing hands. Well, there was a new sound outside my door, and it was getting louder, and something was trying to get in. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if them dead folks had figured out how to use a doorknob, or if they were finally chewing their way in. All I knew was I wasn't going down without no fight. I grabbed 2 biggest cast iron pans we had, and I crouched by the door. And when it opened...
Zombies can't open doors.
No, they can't. But hey, you see that big fella over there, the one with all the muscles and those barbed wire tattoo? He can.
The caravan found you.
They were stopping and checking every place they could for supplies. By then, the zombies had all cleared out or wandered off, so it was pretty safe. He opened that door, and I'd jump out screaming like a demon, swinging my pants at his big melon head.
What happened?
Well, I caught him right above the ear with one, running his bell good. But Mikey's a big guy, and he kicked me right in the chest, threw me back in the room, and... he locked me back in the damn storeroom. So like I say, I clocked him good, so he goes yelping back to the group. And they're all up in arms, and I guess because it was dark and he's so big, and he just assumed that I was too, so he tell them all that there's this 7-foot-tall giant madman back there screaming and throwing pans. Me, 7 foot tall. Well, they got all up in arms, and then they come back, and they screaming over them and telling me to stand down, and when they opened the door, they don't see no giant man, they seen me, all 5 foot, 120 pound of me, huffing and puffing in the dark and squeaking against the light like they ain't never let Mikey live it down. Ain't that right, Mikey? But the nickname stuck, and I've been riding with a caravan ever since. I figure since I was a good cook, they didn't have no one who knew their way around food, I owed them one. They're good people, one and all.
Did you ever see Terry again?
Yeah. A couple days later. I saw him. Said he wasn't Terry no more. He was with a big group of them. Probably the same group that came that night.
What did you do?
Well, we let him be. I figured, let him be. If it wasn't for him, I'd be right out there beside him, so I let him be.
While not everyone is dealing well with the aftermath of the fall of civilization as we know it, some people, and you're not going to believe this, were ready for the undead. Me, I can't even fathom how you could live a normal life waiting for something like this. While traveling through Chattahoochee National Forest, I stopped for water at a stream, and I noticed a fence about 100 yards from the road. After walking over, I discovered that trust doesn't come easy in this new world.
Hey guys, I don't want any trouble. You can put down the guns. I'm just a traveler. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What? Can I come closer to the fence so that I can hear you better? I'm putting down my things, okay?
You're putting down your weapons? What the hell is the matter with you, boy? I see folks coming through here and be wearing your skin like a suit. You believe this, Earl?
Could you tell me your name?
How about you tell me yours and I don't have Earl put a 5.56 millimeter round through your head?
David. My name is David. Dave. But my friends call me Double D. But it's I'm trying to look really non-threatening, I promise.
Well, you're doing a piss-poor job of it, son. Commander Dale Edwards, leader of the 23rd Georgia Militia.
23rd Militia? Is that a military organization?
Is that a camera? Son, where are you from? We're the last remnants of God-fearing patriots in these here United States.
How have you managed to stay here without being overrun?
This here fence seems to be keeping you out.
Fair point, but I'm also not a zombie.
Let's make something real clear here, Double D. Your entire existence at this point is based on my good graces. I got 2 marksmen in those towers with a clear shot that you'd be more than happy to make a corpse out of you, one that don't stand back up. We're clear.
Crystal. And thank you for not shooting me. Can I ask you guys, how were you able to prepare for everything that happened?
Only a damn fool wouldn't have been ready for this. What other signs did you need? Everyone started ranting and raving about the medical company. It's curing folks.
Karama Pharmaceuticals?
Yep, that's it. Society has been breaking down for decades. Dependence on cell phones and chemicals in our food. People been ignoring it, getting lazy. Too much time on the internet. We decided to be ready when it came. We started building and stockpiling supplies. Housing, fresh water, medical supplies, generators. Hell, Earl here has the whole Dukes of Hazzard series on DVD. The good ones too, Blu-ray.
So, you're safe here. But aren't you worried that you'll be attacked?
I think anyone getting within 25 meters of my perimeter needs to be worried now. My mama didn't raise me to be rude, but I think you've worn out your welcome. Go on now. Don't let me see you snooping around here again, because if I do, let's just say that our cameras take pictures a whole lot better. The permanent kind. Understood?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Over the last few months, I've seen the best in humanity, and I've seen the worst. I've heard stories that have inspired me and lifted my spirits, and I've witnessed things that will haunt my dreams until my dying day. One of the most heartbreaking encounters I can remember happened by chance. I was traveling just outside of Fort Madison, Iowa, when the skies suddenly opened, drenching me in a torrential downpour. For the second, I forgot about the world around me as I ran for shelter. There was no worry of a zombie attack or fear of other survivors, just a cold, instinctual need to get out of the soaking rain. Forcing my way into what I thought was an abandoned fast food restaurant, I was so happy to get out of the storm that I didn't notice the loaded pistol aimed at my head until its owner cocked back the hammer. It was a girl. I guessed about 16. She ordered me back outside, motioning to the doorway with the gun. It took me a few minutes of persuading and, a few candy bars from my supplies to convince her that I wasn't a threat, and to let me stay at least until the rain passed.
You can just talk into the recorder.
This is stupid.
A deal's a deal.
You better not be lying.
I'm not. 2 more candy bars for your story. That's the deal.
I don't know what to say.
Just say your name and where you're from.
T.
Is that short for something? Where are your parents?
Dead.
How long have you been on your own?
Look, I don't want to do this, okay?
Talk to me?
Talk to anyone.
Why?
Because you're all monsters.
What do you mean?
I mean, zombies want to hurt you, kill you. Sometimes people want the same thing. It's safer to just avoid everyone, living or dead. If I had it my way, I wouldn't have to deal with any of you.
Have you had to deal with zombies?
You mean like kill them? When I have to, yeah. Most of the time I just avoid them. Stay low, stay quiet, and if it gets too bad, flat out run.
What about people? Have you ever killed?
I can't even tell the difference anymore. Really, you're all the same. I avoid you, and if you keep coming after me, I make sure you stop. It used to bother me. I mean, back when it first started, I remember the first time I had to stop someone. I cried so hard I threw up.
Stop a person or a zombie?
It doesn't bother me anymore. It used to, but it doesn't. Not anymore.
When is the last time that you spoke with another living person?
A while, I guess. Mostly it happens like this, like you. Someone will show up in some place where I am, and I either leave or make them leave. You're lucky it's raining really hard and that you look like a wet dog. Or I'd make you leave too.
Well, thank you for letting me stay and agreeing to do this.
If you're lying about the candy, you're gonna be sorry.
I'm not here. I trust you.
Don't.
Don't what?
Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone.
You don't seem so bad.
I am.
Well, you...
This is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore. Can we be done? I want to be done, okay?
Okay. Okay.
You just stay on your side, and I'll stay on mine. Please don't make me... Just stay over there, okay?
Don't worry, I will.
Good. We done?
One more question.
What?
How old are you?
Why?
For the record, it's for the record.
What month is it?
September, I think.
Oh. I'm 12. I'm still 12.
"12 years old and surviving on our own. 12 years old. I'd love to tell you that we traveled together, that I eventually got her to trust me to the point where I learned her name, but the truth is, she was gone before I got up the next morning. I'm not even positive that she stayed through the night. Whatever distrust she had overwhelmed her, and I never saw her again. I'm positive she's still out there, though, and that she's still alive, and I just hope that she's finally found someone that isn't a monster. I stumbled across a settlement in Ohio, run by a man named Jack Hodge. While the area itself had been hit hard by the outbreak, a surprisingly large number of people banded together and survived. Most of the town had been recovered and secured, and while it made for an excellent trading post, I found that the stories I pulled from there, well, they were more valuable than anything I could have bartered for. Please state your name and age for the record, whenever you're ready.
My name is John Colin Hodge, but most people call me Jack. I'm 41.
Thanks for doing this, Jack. Most of your group seems to be avoiding me.
Well, don't take it as personal. We had a bit of bad luck with some bandits a few weeks back. People are still nervous, distrustful.
No badge?
Excuse me?
I heard a woman call you sheriff earlier. I figured that with that and the way that you carried yourself, you used to be a police officer.
I'm whatever they need me to be. If they feel better thinking I'm the sheriff, then that's what I am. People need someone to look up to.
So you weren't a cop?
Can I be honest with you?
Please.
I'm only doing this because I need someone to know the truth. I figured even if it's just some kid with a tape recorder, it should be on record somewhere.
Well, you realize that I plan on broadcasting this, right? So whatever you say has the potential to be heard by anyone listening.
Well, I will deal with that if and when it ever happens. Do you really think that you're going to be able to get a TV or radio station working again? And even if you do, what are the odds that anything you broadcast ever makes it all the way out here? Or for that matter, that we're still even here when and if you do it? I'll take my chances. Besides, I don't hide anymore. That's not me.
Well, when you put it that way.
You asked if I was a cop?
I'm guessing you weren't.
Just the opposite. I was a criminal. I don't make excuses.